I'll be reviewing the film Barbie today. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel before we begin. Helen Mirren provides the voiceover for a video describing the creation of Barbie as a doll that altered the world at the start of the film. Barbie dolls were produced by a firm called Mattel because society grew tired of pushing young girls to play the role of mothers by playing with baby dolls. The dolls could be anything they wanted to be, and each one had a particular profession. Many Kens exist in the Barbie Land universe. There is a President Barbie, a Doctor Barbie, a Writer Barbie, a Diplomat Barbie, a Journalist Barbie, and a Mermaid Barbie who is expecting a doll named Midge between others. The Kens' ties with their Barbies are essential to their way of life. Barbie, the main character, goes about her day living it up in Barbie Land while we follow her with her regular activities. Everything about this performance is flawless, and she never skips a beat in the pristine pink realm known as Barbie Land. She runs into all the other Barbies, Kens, and Alan at the beach. The friction between the Kens is evident right away, since Ryan Gosling's Ken is envious of the attention Barbie accords to him. Ken makes the decision to race into the waves of the water in an effort to impress Barbie. He ends up striking the waves hard and falling. Barbie, however, takes care of the issue, and all is fine in Barbie Land before the Kens can enjoy a day at the beach. At stereotypical Barbie's dream house, all the Barbies, Kens, and Alan come together at night for a dance party. Everything is going perfectly, and then Dua Lipa does a huge dance sequence to a really catchy disco song. However, the dance is stopped when the stereotypical Barbie asks aloud if the other Barbies ever consider passing away. She swiftly appears to be joking about it after the reaction makes it plain that she is the only one who feels that way. However, her morning regimen entirely fails the following day. Soon after, she begins to malfunction, and her feet become flat. She begins, among other things, to have foul breath. She is asked to see Weird Barbie by the other Barbies. Barbie discovers that Weird Barbie became what she is as a result of the young girl who played with her wrecking her by playing too rough. Weird Barbie now looks after the other Barbies to prevent a repeat of her malfunction. Barbie explains to Odd Barbie what's happening to her. Weird Barbie thinks that a blip between the actual world and Barbie Paradise is the source of everything. Barbie discovers that there is a connection between the actual world and Barbie Land, and that something has gone wrong in the real world, as a result of which Barbie is acting strangely in Barbie Land. Barbie is instructed to search for the girl who played with her and messed her up in the real world. She asks Barbie to make an effort to make the girl smile. Strange Barbie coerces Barbie into visiting the real world, even though she is not particularly excited about the concept and does not want to go. When another Ken agitates Ken, Barbie bids adieu to all the other Barbies, requiring him to sneak into Barbie's automobile and travel to the outside world with him. Barbie discovers that the actual world is not all that amazing, and that contrary to what the Barbie dolls imagined, they had not revolutionized it. When she is catcalled and tormented by guys, Barbie discovers that the world is predominantly male. Barbie fights a man who slaps her on the butt, which results in her being imprisoned, in contrast to Barbie Land, where women hold every position of authority. After deciding to switch up their attire, Barbie and Ken wind up robbing a store of fresh clothes and are once more detained. The police inform Barbie and Ken's manufacturer, Mattel, that two of its dolls have gone rogue and are now living in the real world. He enters the elevator, rides it all the way up, and suddenly finds himself in a meeting with Mr. Mattel, the CEO. While she attempts to focus on herself and identify the young girl who played with her, Barbie asks Ken to leave her alone for a while. Barbie has a dream in which the little girl is barred from playing with the doll until she is an adult. After witnessing the young girl being made to perform things she did not enjoy, Barbie becomes upset. Ken explores the actual world and discovers that there, guys have a very high standing. He observes that in contrast to Barbie Land, men hold all positions of power, and that women are obedient to them. In order to find the little girl who played with her, Barbie calls out to Ken and begs him to go with her to the high school. Barbie arrives at the school she saw in her dream and runs into the young girl she used to play with. Sasha, a tween, is the girl, who is being cruel to Barbie. She claims that the dolls which were made for girls to play with, are the main reason why women have body dysmorphia in addition to other mental and physical conditions, and that they have pushed the feminist movement back by 50 years. Sasha calls Barbie a fascist, which breaks Barbie's heart since she feels upset and attempts to defend herself. Ken searches the school library for literature about horses at the same time, but instead discovers a ton of patriarchy-related reading material. Having been impressed by patriarchy, he ventures out into the real world in search of employment. He discovers that in order to get a job in the real world, he would need a degree. After her encounter with Sasha, Barbie is discovered by the guys of Mattel sobbing on the sidewalk. They inform her that they will take her to the Mattel corporate office. In a conversation with a lady, Ken is astounded by the respect that women have for men in the real world. Ken chooses to return to Barbie Land by himself rather than accompany Barbie to Mattel. Gloria, who is on her way to the school to pick up her daughter, Sasha, decides to follow the cars to find out what is happening with Barbie. When Barbie gets to Mattel, she greets Mr. Mattel. She discovers that the corporation had been operated by men and that the original designer of Barbie, a woman, had never been in the premises. Barbie escapes to flee the room after pretending to need the restroom, despite Mr. Mattel's best efforts to persuade her to enter the box voluntarily. Following a complicated chase, Barbie eventually finds herself inside a woman's home. Barbie converses with the elderly woman who goes by the name Ruth. Barbie receives reassurance from her that she is okay just the way she is, and that there is no need for her to become the stereotypically flawless Barbie that she was created to be. When Barbie hears the men pursuing her, she becomes upset during her conversation with Ruth and bids the elderly woman goodbye. Gloria and Sasha are in their car outside the Mattel office when Barbie arrives. Gloria agrees to assist Barbie and outruns the men who are pursuing them. Barbie had second thoughts about what a Barbie going through an existential crisis would look like after finding out that Gloria was the one playing with the doll. She understands that she misbehaved since Gloria was going through a difficult period. Barbie understands that her mother, not Sasha, was to blame for her malfunction because it was her mother's memories that she was experiencing. She apologizes to Sasha for what the Barbie dolls are doing to the real world. Gloria and Sasha join in to support Barbie as she makes the decision to return to Barbie Land. Barbie enters Barbie Land and discovers that patriarchy has overtaken this realm, taking over her home and transforming the entire Barbie Land into Kendom. Barbie discovers that the Kens had indoctrinated all the other Barbies into serving them. As they began attending to the demands of the Ken dolls, the dolls lost sight of who they were and their own identities as doctors, Nobel Prize winners, presidents, and more. Barbie tries to discuss it with Ken. However, he contends that Gloria was to blame for altering their routine by causing Barbie to consider dying. To learn what was happening in Barbie Land, the Mattel men decide to follow Barbie. Barbie's breakdown has caused problems in Barbie Land in the interim. She asserts that she will do nothing except wait for everything to return to normal. Barbie is extremely depressed, despite Gloria and Sasha's best efforts to make her see logic. Gloria states that it was vital for them to settle disputes in Barbie Land because it was all her fault as she and Sasha are returning to reality. She circles around and returns to assist Barbie. Barbie and a few other Barbies are brought to the home of Weird Barbie by Gloria and Sasha. There, they make the decision to divert the Kens in order to save the other Barbies. A few Barbies begin the deprogramming of the Barbies by diverting the Kens with a ruse, together with Alan, Ken's neglected friend. The Barbies are brought away after the Kens have been diverted, and Gloria uses her talk about female emancipation to awaken them from their trance. After all the Barbies had been deprogrammed, they made the decision to activate their charm in order to capture the appropriate Kens. Barbie apologizes for not considering Ken as a viable partner when she visits his home. When she admits that she was prepared to date him, Ken is pleased. Along with the other Kens and their individual Barbies, he sings Barbie a 4-hour song. But just when the Kens thought the Barbies were interested in them, the Barbies switch seats with another Ken to make them envious. The Kens fight each other on the beach after dividing into 2 separate squads. The Ken clash, where all the Kens attempt to pose as murderers of one another, comes when Mattel and his soldiers arrive in Barbie Land. As Ken sings, he suddenly understands that he is Ken, a distinct person, and not just Barbie's sidekick. In the meantime, without the Kens, the elections in Barbie Land are held. President Barbie rules in favor of the Barbies, arguing that the absence of the Kens made it impossible for the Kens to overthrow the Barbie government. When the Kens return to Kendom at last, they discover that it has been transformed back into Barbie country. Ken becomes disturbed and begins to cry as a result of his failure as a doll. The two discuss how Barbie never thought of Ken as a spouse and how every night was girls' night for her as Barbie tries to comfort him. Barbie begs Ken to develop an identity for himself by learning who he truly was after she apologizes for taking him for granted. Mr. Mattel, who overheard the conversation, asserts that he recognizes the weight Ken was carrying, but that there was nothing he could do to change the doll's predicament. Gloria argues that there should be a normal Barbie that looks like a lady who goes about her daily life without having lofty goals or expectations like taking over the world. According to her, the new Barbie might appeal to every woman and alter how people in the real world view dolls as objects of stereotyped beauty. The other guys, including Mr. Mattel, decide to implement the plan and shut the vortex separating the two universes. Sasha requests that Barbie get her own finale, though. Barbie is unable to make decisions about her future because all she has ever known is waking up, having a great day, and ending it with a huge party. Gloria begs Mr. Mattel to give Barbie her own happy ending and her own tale, but he says he is powerless to do so. When Mrs. Ruth Mattel appears, she identifies herself as the doll's inventor and tells Barbie so. Years had passed since the elderly little woman passed away, and males now controlled her field. Barbie, according to Ruth, is named after her daughter Barbara. She contends that Barbie needs to embark on a journey of self-discovery in order to determine what she wants to do with her life. Barbie travels through time to learn about the history of women and comes to the conclusion that she no longer wants to exist as a concept that originates from someone else's thoughts. Barbie explains to Ruth that she wanted to be a human and didn't want to just be a doll. Ruth refuses to give her the go-ahead to allow Barbie to become a human when she requests for it from her. Barbie makes the decision to enter the real world since she wants to be the one coming up with the ideas. As Barbie enters the real world, all the other Barbies and Kens bid her farewell. Barbie is dropped off at work for the first time as an everyday woman by Gloria and her husband. When Barbie enters the real world, she visits her gynecologist first, just like any ordinary woman would. We appreciate you watching this video. If you liked it, please click the like button and subscribe buttons to receive more posts like this. Please feel free to leave a comment below with your opinions on the video or any recommendations for future content. I always like hearing from my fans. I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the future video.